Aloha, everybody. Welcome back to the Green Garden Guys channel this morning. It's a beautiful day here again. It's been too many beautiful days in paradise, if that's actually possible. The entire state, with one exception, is under drought conditions. There's 2 degrees of it. Some of it is kind of extreme. The rest is just, moderate drought. There's only one place in the state that doesn't have a drought status at the moment, and it's right here. There's one small green circle on the map of the Big Island that sits over, probably Curtistown, maybe Kayal, Mountain View, just right in here. It's the only place. Now, I know that I saw thunderstorms in Hilo the other night, and I saw the storms at the same time going south, and they hit my friends down there in Eden Rock, so it split right on us. But we technically have enough moisture. I don't know how they run these numbers, because obviously, in Mountain View, if we're getting, 130 inches of rain a year, 65 inches of rain a year is only half. And here, I guess that would be a drought. And so I suppose they must do these calculations by, percentage of loss in the rainfall or something. Because, Kahala gets like 16 inches and Glenwood gets like 160, so what's a drought where, right? I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. I agree with the people who've been making the calculations, because it's been so dry and sunny over here, lack of rain most of the time, that I'm beginning to feel like I live back in California. There's some serious changes in the weather. Now, Hawaii has experienced what is probably the results of a warming Pacific Ocean now for a number of years. It's been evident. We had some drought conditions a few years back here, before 2016, where my soil here was actually cracked. We had fractures all over it, coffee trees defoliated for lack of water. So again, right now, things right here are not too bad at all. I irrigated my corn and my cabbages and my broccoli, pole beans when I put them in, but I haven't since. There is adequate moisture in the soil in this location that things are growing. I just went out and tossed some more chicken manure in the corn. A note to everybody here: you like growing corn. Corn will only take up nitrogen from the knee and below. Okay, so if you have a shortage of N, by the time you hit the knee and it goes beyond, you're out of luck. It won't take it up. It takes it and it stores it in the lower portion of the stalk and then burns it the rest of its life. It will take up phosphorus and potassium. So if you got purplish color on the leaves and tip burning, it could be phosphorus deficiency. That you can still fix. So my corn is just below the knee, and I got out just in time to be able to put on an additional boost. Probably would have had enough anyway, but I probably wouldn't ended up like with 2 ears to the stalk or nice large ears. I probably got 1 ear instead if I hadn't fertilized one more time. But it's not going to do me any good if it doesn't rain, because I used dry pelletized chicken manure, tossed it underneath the plants, and walked away. If it doesn't rain, I may end up having to turn on the irrigation just to activate the fertilizer. There's some puffy looking clouds out there. There's a possibility of picking up some scattered showers that may be enough, but I'll tell you what, man, it's getting drier over here all the time. It really is. Where the weather, now, it doesn't mean that, like if Hilo gets 120 inches of rain a year, it doesn't mean lately that they aren't getting the 120, but how it's happening is the problem. It'll be 2 weeks of almost no rainfall, and then all of a sudden you get a gully washer come through, you tear stuff up, flood the rivers, and create chaos. That's a couple of years ago when Hurricane Lane came through here, that I called Hurricane Rain. We got 30% of our annual rainfall in the town of Mountain View in a week's time that Lane was hanging around over here. And so that doesn't work out too well, because soil drains very fast here. And so however much water is tossed at it, most of it's gone within a few days' time. So sometimes I feel good about this. I lived for 25 years in California where it didn't rain much. Bay Area rainfall, I believe, around Fremont was about 16 inches a year. That isn't a whole lot. If it wasn't for the fact that we had relatively heavy soils in that area and it was fairly cool next to the Pacific Ocean, well, it would have been heck to try to grow much of anything. Yeah, it's the heavy soils that people used to cuss. Oh, I got clay soil. They'd say, well, it holds moisture. It held nutrients. And with 16 inches of rainfall, they were a blessing, actually. Here, with 150 inches of rainfall, having soil that drains like sand is also an advantage. So that's why I say it depends, on your conditions and what is a typical, usual rainfall pattern. Oh, there goes my kitty cat chasing some. What's up, Gracie? Yeah. So, we're in a drought. Yep. I don't know. Folks with catchment. This could be a big problem for y'all. I haven't seen the water trucks traveling much yet, but I imagine if this keeps up, they will. I'll start to see them coming up and down the roads, hauling water for people whose catchment tanks have gone dry. This could start. Those of us who are on wells, I have both. I'm on a well, and a county well, and I have catchment too. Those of us that are on the county water supplies across the entire state, except for right here, they are warning us to watch the water. I'm getting these water warnings, about water usage, irrigation, sprinklers, and so on, like I used to see in California. I was hoping I wasn't going to start to see that here, but it's here. We're dry. I don't know, one of these days maybe the weather will go back to something more normal. Who knows? The biggest problem with drought in Hawaii, the reason why we get drought in Hawaii is, the Hawaiian Islands are actually laying, on a latitude line here on the planet that almost everywhere else that the 20th parallel wraps around the Earth, we have deserts. It goes right across the Sahara, for instance, parts of Mexico where this crosses, except right near the ocean and such, it's pretty dry too. This is generally a fairly dry latitude line. Hawaii gets the rainfall only because the trade winds that sweep from east to west here, as they come in off the ocean, they bear moisture, and as they rise up over the mountains, they begin to drop it. And so we get this effect here that we get more rain than most people in this latitude would ordinarily experience. But the trade winds have broken down. The heating of the Pacific Ocean has generally stopped the trade wind flow, at least by percentage. I don't know if we get half the trade winds we used to. I don't know. To me, that seemed like they used to be almost steady. It was like a clock, We'd get rain overnight. We'd get rain starting in the afternoon, and stuff like that. As the day got hot, the rain would fall, clouds would build up. And none of that's happening anymore here, because the air is not moving from that direction anymore. All right, folks. There's the climate report from the Big Island. Aloha. Y'all hang loose.